welcome back everyone for some more Phoenix Wright, Ace Attorney, Justice for All. And we are going to begin day 1 of the trial in the case against Maya Fey. Last time we finished the investigation, and not only did we get Pearl to talk to us, but we also got Maya's Magatama, which allows us to look into people's secrets. More specifically, we got to get a little bit of information from Eenie Miney, and we did get her to admit to us that she does know Dr. Turner Greythrough, her sister who is the nurse in the malpractice incident at the surgical clinic. But anyway, we're gonna hopefully try to make our case here and try to get an acquittal for Maya. But anyway, hopefully you guys have an awesome day so far. So without further ado, let's go ahead and begin the trial. June 21st, 9:48 a.m. District Court, Defendant Lobby number 3. What? Prosecutor Von Karma, you mean? No, I heard it's his successor this time. Successor? Manfred Von Karma was a really sinister man. He pulled all sorts of nasty tricks, so he could win. He was a man obsessed with the word perfection. He had a perfect record for 40 long years. Who knows what sorts of dirty tricks he used to get each of those guilty verdicts. And now his successor, I wonder what kind of person they will turn out to be. It's no good! Mystic Maya! Pearly! You showed up! Thanks for coming all this way! I was really worried about you. Hey, where's your mother? Didn't you two come together? Mother is watching over the trainees. She said they have training for 2 days straight with no breaks. Huh? Then you came all by yourself? Yep, I snuck out of the manor and followed a map. Don't tell me you walked all the way here. Of course not, I ran. I can't, oh my. If it takes 2 hours by train, oh man. Pearly, what about the train? Huh? What's a train? I give up. It's time, isn't it? I'm really scared. What if Von Karma tries to do something to me? At least I know Mr. Edgeworth would be nicer to me than Von Karma. Mr. Edgeworth? Who is that? He's Nick's rival. Well, he's also a friend. Objection! I still remember him as though I'd seen him only yesterday. Objection! Every trial was a scorchingly fierce battle until the very end. Objection! Objection! It was always back and forth with them, but when you're rivals for life. Maya, please don't mention that name ever again. Huh? But why, Nick? I'm sorry, Maya. I forgot you don't know. He's gone, and he's not coming back. What? Wait a second. What's that supposed to mean? Court will commence shortly. Please proceed into the courtroom. Let's go. Now's not the time to talk about that anyway. Nick? I wonder what's going on with Edgeworth. June 21st, 10 a.m. District Court, Courtroom number 2. Court is now in session for the trial of Maya Fey. Are the prosecution and defense prepared? Well, there's our prosecutor and Manfred Von Karma's successor. What is with this kid? Mr. Wright, are you prepared? Huh? Yes, Your Honor. Why does he always seem mad at me? Mr. Phoenix Wright! You must be a little shocked because I'm a woman, correct? Hold on, so she's the famed successor to Prosecutor Von Karma? I am Franziska Von Karma, the prodigy. I see. I gave up a promising career in Germany and came to this country for one sole reason. Revenge. Revenge? Is this about her father, Manfred Von Karma? If it's something of a personal nature, I'm sure you can... I'm talking! If you interrupt again, my whip will do speaking for me. Please speak with your mouth like a normal person. I beg of you. Yow! Make no mistake, I will defeat you. Prepare to go down, Mr. Phoenix Wright.
Prosecutor Von Karma, your opening statement, please. Those of Von Karma blood have only one fate, and that is perfection. The defendant, Maya Fane, will find no escape from her guilt on my watch. Very well. Where's the defense's position? Your Honor, does the defense wish to enter a plea of not guilty? Yes. Foolish fool who fully dreams of foolish dreams. 10 minutes. I give the defense 10 minutes before it changes its plea. That's right. I'll have you running for the justified self-defense plea in no time. Justified self-defense? A plea usually reserved for when a person unintentionally kills in defense of themselves. We could very easily make a solid case that it was a self-defense, but... The defense stands by the plea of not guilty, Your Honor. Because to plead justified self-defense is to say you did kill someone. How foolish. If that's how you want to play it, Mr. Phoenix Wright, then I shall now call the first witness. She's just as scary as her father. Like daughter, I suppose. Witness, your name and occupation. Yes, sir. My name is Dick Gumshoe. I'm a detective at the local precinct. Ah! Get to the point already! Explain to the court the details of this murder. Yes, sir. If everyone please look at this map. The channeling chamber has no windows and the door was locked shut. At the time of the murder, only the victim and the defendant were in the room. What were they doing in there? They were channeling a spirit, sir. Channeling a spirit? That's quite the look of disbelief there, Your Honor. Anyway, a few minutes after the channeling started, gunshots were heard coming from inside the room, sir. A few of the witnesses broke the door down and rushed into the room. Oh, and that's when they found the victim was already dead, correct? I believe this is one of the most open and shut cases I've ever presided over. Floor plans added to the court record a diagram of the channeling chamber. So, how was the victim killed? I was about to get to that. Stop wasting my time then! Witness testimony, cause of death. The direct cause of death was a pistol shot to the forehead, sir. The shot was fired from point-blank range. But before the victim was shot, sir, he was stabbed in the chest. The wound was very severe, but not enough to cause instantaneous death. The murderer used a pistol to finish the victim off after the stabbing. So the victim was stabbed before being shot. This is the victim's autopsy report, sir. Autopsy report added to the court record. After being stabbed in the chest, he was shot in the forehead at point blank. The court accepts it into evidence, Mr. Wright. You may now question the witness. Okay, let's go ahead and do what we normally do before any cross-examination. Cross-examination, cause of death. The direct cause of death was a pistol shot to the forehead, sir. The murder weapon, Detective Gumshoe. Whose pistol was it? It was the victim's. The victim? Now, why would he have... Objection! Why would he have a pistol? Who cares? The point that you are missing is whose fingerprints are on that pistol. If you're not already paying attention to that, then I suggest you start. Fingerprints? There were fingerprints? Along with the victims. The defendant, Maya Faze, were also on the grip, sir. I like how the judge always gets amazed by fingerprints. So the defendant's fingerprints were left on the murder weapon. I walked right into her hands there. The shot was fired from point-blank range. Point-blank, huh? So, about how far away is that? It's anywhere between 12 to 20 inches away. How do you know he was shot at point-blank? Mr. Phoenix Wright. I grow tired of the foolish foolery of the foolish fools of this foolish country. Excuse me? Gunpowder burn. Gunpowder burn. When something gets shot from point blank, a burn area is left around the bullet hole. Gunpowder exploding is what makes a bullet fire, and that gets real hot, pal. And there were definitely some gunpowder burns left on the victim's forehead. Wow, never knew that. Live and learn, I guess. But before the victim was shot, sir, he was stabbed in the chest. Stabbed? And what was he stabbed with? A fruit knife. I see it. Whose knife was it? Looks like it belongs to the face, sir. And of course, Maya face fingerprints are all over it. All over it, huh? This does not look good. What will you do now, Mr. Phoenix Wright? The wound is very severe, but not enough to cause instantaneous death. How severe was the wound? If it had been half an inch more to the right, it would have hit the victim's heart. After a stab like that, it's impossible to fight back, let alone stand. This testimony makes it sound like Maya had stabbed him with the intent to kill. The murderer used a pistol to finish the victim off after the stabbing. Are you sure he was stabbed first, then shot? Yep, sure as should can be. One look at the wounds and you'd come to the same conclusion too, pal. A fool is a fool who will only listen to the foolish opinions of other foolish fools. A pistol shot to the forehead at point blank is certainly enough to kill instantly. Does it matter then which was first? Think a little more before you open that big mouth of yours, Mr. Phoenix Wright. What a pain. That's enough. We have clearly established how the victim was murdered. I brought the two murder weapons with me today. Very well. The court accepts them into evidence. Pistol added to the court record. Murder weapon was Gray's. 2 shots fired. Bears Maya's and Gray's fingerprints. Knife added to the court record. Murder weapon. A small fruit knife belongs to the Fays. Bears Maya's fingerprints. The date and time of death was June 19th at 3:15 p.m. Eyewitnesses claim to have heard 2 gunshots this time. And 2 murder weapons, both the defendant's fingerprints on them, huh? Hey there, Spider-Monk. This does seem like an open and shut case. Naturally. This is going from bad to worse. As if the summary just now wasn't oversimplifying things to the extreme. Your Honor, feel free to slam that little gavel of yours. After all, there is no room left for doubt, is there? That is quite true. Mr. Wright? Yes? Even in the face of all this, do you still wish to plead not guilty? It's the opinion of this court that if you do not adjust your plea, you stand to lose. See? Just as I promised, Mr. Phoenix Wright. You will change your plea in less than 10 minutes. What will you do, Mr. Wright? Will you change to justified self-defense? Because now would be the time to do so. This is your final chance. This is a huge decision. I better think this through all the way. But like Phoenix just said before, pleading self-defense would admit that she murdered someone, but we're trying to prove that she didn't murder anyone, so we're gonna keep the plea not guilty. If we plead justified self-defense, we would basically be confessing to murder. After the trial, Maya's life would be ruined, and she'd be labeled a murderer. I can't let that happen. Your Honor, have you reached a conclusion, Mr. Wright? The defense will not change its plea. We will accept nothing short of complete acquittal. You have sealed your fate, Mr. Phoenix Wright. Detective! Hey there, Chivoto. Yes, sir? Present the final portion of your testimony. The final strike. Yes, sir. Now, see here. Proceedings are run by... Oh, yes, of course. Go ahead, Detective, and give your testimony. Man. I think the court would like to hear about the other piece of incriminating evidence. Witness testimony. Incriminating evidence. Sorry, pal, but there's an even more incriminating piece of evidence. This is the costume the defendant was wearing at the time of the crime. As you can see, it's covered in blood. The defendant attacked and killed a person who, without a doubt, is not fighting back. So this is the costume. There certainly is evidence of a backspray of blood on this. This piece directly links Maya Fey to the crime, sir. I see. The court accepts this into evidence. Maya's costume added to the court record. Clothes Maya was wearing at the time of the murder. There are blood splatters on it. Alright, Mr. Wright. Maya's fingerprints on both murder weapons and blood splatters on her clothes? Could this situation get any worse? Ha! What's wrong? You seem to be at a loss. I think this is the last piece of testimony the prosecution have to offer. Feel free to sulk off with your tail between your legs, Mr. Phoenix Wright. Please stop calling me by my full name. It's disturbing. Cross-examination, incriminating evidence. Sorry, pal, but there's even more incriminating piece of evidence. Let's go ahead and save this first. This is the costume the defendant was wearing at the time of the crime. Maya's costume? Yeah, she was wearing this when we arrested her. Maya, she's wearing a channeling costume today too. Is she not allowed to wear anything else? As you can see, it's covered in blood. There's blood on the costume. Lab results show that it is the victim's blood. So there's blood from the victim of the defendant's clothes. Definitely not good. So, were there any other clues you could glean for this piece of evidence? Well... Objection! Hey there, Kevin. If you must change the topic, then the good detective here must testify again. But too bad, not enough time. Let's move on. Oh yes, Miss Karma is perfectly correct. Not even the judge. Now even the judge is on his side. But if I bite off more than I can chew here, what should I do? We've got to press further. Why is Miss Karma suddenly putting up resistance? There must be a reason as to why she suddenly threw out an objection like that. There must be something about this costume. I just have to look harder. And I think I already see it. Do you guys notice it too? Mr. Wright, Miss Karma's logic is perfect. There is no way for you to poke a hole in it. Looks like my time is up, so... About the costume. There is one little thing. Your Honor. Actually, there is something very wrong with this piece of evidence. What? What are you talking about, pal? Where is this problem you're talking about? I've come this far. There's no turning back now. The problem I have with this piece of evidence is here. Take that! I asked the court to please take a look at the sleeve of this costume. The sleeve? There's a tiny hole here. A hole? But that wasn't in the report. Hold on. What's just around the hole? It smells faintly of gunpowder. Gunpowder? No one ever told me. A hole that smells of gunpowder. Looks like I found the hole I was looking for. Your Honor, the only logical conclusion you can make is that it must be a bullet hole. Order! 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 This is a very grave matter. It's best we correct the court record first before anything else. Maya's costume updated in the court record. Clothes Maya was wearing at the time of the murder. Press the check button for details. Sorry about that. I guess we messed up, sir. Is she actually smiling? What else is she hiding? Pull yourself, detective. Pull yourself together, detective. That tiny hole doesn't change a thing. The strength of the evidence still holds. Continue with your testimony. That just now was a fluke. Nothing more. Objection! How can you say something like that? This is a huge oversight. Well, I agree. It is a mistake on the part of the police. What Prosecutor Von Karma has said is true. The evidence still stands. If you do not find a more definitive problem in the evidence, then... No way! Director Gumshoe, please continue with your testimony. Yes, sir. The defendant attacked and killed a person who, without a doubt, was not fighting back. Objection! Detective Dick Gumshoe. Yes? Having you call me by my full name is kind of a weird feeling. You said that my client killed a person who, without a doubt, was not fighting back. Yeah, I did. Then what, may I ask, is the bullet hole you police overlook supposed to mean? What does it mean? I'll tell you what it means. It means that the victim had fired off a shot. Is this what it means to not fight back? You're right. It seems you're correct. If the victim had tried to shoot the defendant, then it would change everything. Alright, the wind seems to be shifting. Huh. What is with that "are you finished yet" laugh? Are you finished yet, Mr. Phoenix Wright? Miss Von Karma? It seems that Maya Fey was shot at by the victim. However, that is only grounds enough to support a justified self-defense plea. That is correct. But I'm sure you remember, Your Honor, what the defense clearly said. They rejected justified self-defense and pleaded not guilty. Now that you... Why, that's right. Which means the defense has yet to prove anything at all. No! Well, wow. Yes, that's true. Furthermore, just the fact that there is a bullet hole in the costume is not enough to substantiate even a plea of justified self-defense. Huh? How so? Don't just stand there. Hurry up and tell the court what transpired that day. With the new information we acquired added in, of course. Huh? You mean by myself? You want me to put together a scenario all by myself? Yes, sir. Right away, sir. Witness testimony. What transpired? During the channeling, the defendant saw her chance to stab the victim in the chest. Of course, the victim used the last of his strength to fight back, sir. While the two were fighting, the victim took out his gun. The victim took a shot, but because they were too close, he missed. The defendant then picked up on this opening, took the victim's gun, and ended it. The scenario you have put together does make sense. Yes, sir. Well, Mr. Wright? Let's go ahead and save. On the surface, it does seem to make sense. However, I won't give up that easily. But please refrain from glaring at me like that. Now then, your cross-examination, please. Cross-examination. What transpired? During the channeling, the defendant saw her chance to stab the victim in the chest. There is quite a difference in height between Dr. Gray and the defendant. Add in body strength, and it seems unlikely the defendant could have stabbed the victim. Now that you mention it, yeah, I guess. You think you could get away with such flimsy reasoning? Mr. Phoenix Wright. Maya Fey was in the middle of channeling, was she not? When channeling with the crime channeling technique, the medium physically changes. With the nurse's build, the defendant could have easily been a match for the doctor. I don't believe it. She even studied up on the crime channeling technique. Like I said before, I am perfect. About what you were talking about, I didn't quite get it. Never mind. Let's continue with the testimony. Of course, the victim used the last of his strength to fight back, sir. While the two were fighting, the victim took out his gun. The victim took a shot, but because they were too close, he missed. So, you're saying that the bullet hole in his costume was made then? Sorry, pal, but yeah, that's what I think. The two of them were already fighting when a shot was fired. Maya, I'm really glad you weren't hurt. The defendant then picked up on the opening, took the victim's gun, and ended it. Maya has never fired a gun before in her life. The victim had already taken off the safety. With the safety off, even an amateur like you can fire it just by pulling the trigger. Even me. I wonder. Now do you understand? Von Karman's logic is perfect. His testimony certainly makes us look very bad. But there's gotta be a contradiction in there somewhere. And uncovering it is going to uncover the truth. I can feel it. Okay, let's run through this again. Missing the tiny hole in his costume will be the prosecution's undoing. Eh? What do you mean? This little hole has actually created a huge hole in your testimony. Explain yourself, Mr. Wright. You said the two of them were fighting when the victim fired his gun at point blank. If that were true, then where's the gunpowder burn on this costume? Gunpowder burn? This is what you testified earlier. When something is shot from point blank, a burn area is left around the bullet hole. Oh! But there is not a single trace of gunpowder burn on this costume. That is a very good point. And what exactly does this mean? It means that when the shot was fired, they were standing apart from each other. Objection! I'm disappointed, Mr. Phoenix Wright. You think you can punch a hole in my logic with that? With wishy-washy thinking like that, anyone can explain anything away. Then I implore you to disprove my line of thinking. Let's see. In the middle of their fight, the victim pushed the defendant away. And it was then, when they were separated, that he fired. How was that? As if that was even possible. According to testimony, the wound from the stabbing was very severe. The victim would not have had the strength to push the defendant very far after that. Well, then... That's right, the defendant must have pushed the victim away. After stabbing him, she must have put some space between the doctor and herself. And then while she was preparing to strike again, the doctor took his shot. There, that should satisfy even you. That does make an awful lot of sense. What do you think, Mr. Wright? I must be careful. I can't afford to make a mistake here. Concentrate and think. Something doesn't make sense. There is a fatal flaw in her argument, Your Honor. Fatal? Flaw? Yo! Very interesting. I would love to see what this flaw is. Show me something that contradicts my explanation. There has to be a snag in her explanation somewhere. She put some distance between them before rushing to make the final blow. And when she was about to strike, the doctor took his shot. There must be a piece of evidence that contradicts this line of thinking. Oh, and I do believe I do have something. Let's see what Franziska von Karma thinks about this. This is a piece of evidence that destroys your logic. What is that? A folding screen? I would like to point to the court's attention to the hole in this folding screen. Ah! Looks like you already know what I'm talking about. Who? Where? What? Mr. Wright, your explanation, please. Are these two really that clueless? The bullet went through the defendant's sleeve first, then the folding screen. It passed through at a height of approximately 8 inches off the ground, which means... When the shot was fired, the defendant, was not getting ready to strike, but was actually squatting low to the ground. Order! Order! This changes everything. Please look at this diagram of the crime scene. The victim, Dr. Gray, was here when he fired the shot. And the bullet hits this folding screen. It hit at this location, 8 inches off the ground. At this time, the defendant was in this area. Well, we gotta pick somewhere between the victim and here. Somewhere around here. Uh-oh, the judge's face is scrunched like he just smelled some serious bad breath. Wait, I just realized I forgot to brush this morning. Excuse me while I freshen up. Sure. In the meantime, I want you to think things through again, Mr. Wright. Ah, of course. Whoops. What's done is done. For now, I should focus on where Maya was at the time of the crime. Somewhere around here. Uh-oh. The judge's face is scrunched like he just smelled some serious bad breath. Wait, I just realized I forgot to brush this morning. Excuse me. What am I missing here? What? Oh, I don't like where this is going. How is it not there? Here, behind the folding screen. Ah, the victim and his attacker were fighting, were they not? Then what would the attacker be doing all the way back there? Sorry about the voice change there. Besides which, if the attacker is behind the folding screen, then how could the victim even know where to shoot? It's obviously impossible. Yeah, I guess so. Mr. Wright. Wait, did I just screw up royally? Okay, I'm very confused now. Because I'm pretty sure that's where the defendant was supposed to be standing. What's done is done. That's low. Oh my god. What the heck? I can't believe this is happening. Why? Let's do this again. How is that not right? Objection! Let me just look here real quick. I can't believe I'm doing this while I'm trying to complete this. Okay, let's go through this again. I should have had this ended by now. We already went through this. Okay, let's go ahead and save here. Looks like it's gonna be one of those like the base in the last trial of game 1. This has to be pixel perfect. Okay. I do kind of blame myself for not saving before this, but I do apologize about all this. Okay, let's go ahead and save here. I can't believe I have to go through all this. We already read all, we already... Okay, let's try this again. What about there? She was standing here near the folding screen. Well, wait a second. We know the defendant was close to the ground based on the height of the bullet hole. But how can you gauge the distance from that? Isn't it possible the defendant was standing much closer to the victim? That's impossible. But why? You, of all people, should know the answer to that question, Miss Von Karma. If she were shot from somewhere closer, that would become out of Burns' present. However, there's nothing of the sort around the bullet hole of this costume. Ah! Curse you, Mr. Phoenix Wright, you... I believe there's not been proven that. The defendant was standing away from the victim when she was shot at. But do you think this has changed the defendant's situation? Heck yeah, it changes everything. Honestly, Your Honor, this changes everything. The prosecution has claimed that the defendant was aiming to kill by stabbing. If that were true, delivering the final strike with a knife would be ideal. However, where and what was the defendant doing at the time? Squatting all the way at the folding screen? Exactly. If Maya Fey was a real murderer, why would she be by the folding screen instead of preparing to strike? Upon further consideration, it does make very little sense. Yeah, I figured it had to be a reason. Figuring things out and proving the logic behind everything is your job. Oof. Alright, with this, the rest of the trial should be in the blast radius of disaster. You are such a smart man, Mr. Phoenix Wright. To think that you've been able to take a completely hopeless case to this point. Now I know why Papa had a tough time with you. You amuse me. Of all the things to inherit, why did it have to be that slimy smile? Detective! How dare you damage my perfect logic? Huh? How is it all my fault? You can start preparing your standing by first removing that 3-strand goatee. Oh, and rest assured your punishment will come later. Punishment? Well then, Your Honor, I think I've had all I can take of this detective's face. I think it's time to call in the next witness. Next witness? That's gotta be Lauda. Very well. The court will take a 5-minute recess. After we reconvene, we will hear from the next witness. Yeah, I do apologize about earlier, everyone. I thought for sure I was pointing at the right spot, but I had to point. It's one of those where you didn't have a direct line between the victim and the folding screen, and it wouldn't have worked, and that's exactly what happened there. It's much like whenever we put we tried to tie the basin with the blue badger in the 5th case of the first game. But anyway, in the words of Macbeth, what's done is done. So we have heard what Detective Gumshoe had to say, and then next time I'll see you guys, we will be hearing from the next witness, which will be Lauda Hart, and we gotta figure out what kind of pictures she took with her camera, because it could either be very, very good or very, very bad for us. So hope you guys looking forward to that. Thank you guys so much for watching this. Hope you guys are enjoying this series so far, and I'll be seeing you guys again next time.